Podtacular Halo 3 Beta Special, Episode 98 for the week of January 29th, 2007.
All right, gentlemen, let's get freaky!
Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I'm your host, Jive.
I am JVB.
My name is Lone Bananafone.
And I'm Luke Smith.
Yay, Luke
I don't have a
Smith.
cool handle. I didn't make one up, like a Transformer name. I don't have one.
I'll call you Bumblebee. I'll call you Bumblebee.
No, I want to be Wheelie.
Nice.
I'll only talk in rhyme for the rest of the time.
If you can, I'll give you a quarter. Because that'll be dope.
I can do it. I'll show you. We'll see through it.
I can do it. Oh, look at that. He started already.
Nice.
Well, in case anybody's wondering who Luke Smith is, he's from OneUp.com. He's also in the One Up Yours podcast. Someone I personally look up to for his unique style. And I welcome him for being on the show.
Yeah,
all I had to do was beg him once. Even though I got to sweep his house and everything like that.
You begged way more than once. I strung you along a little bit and I teased you a little.
Yeah.
And then I gave it up.
If this date can be January 29th, then he can beg you once.
Once.
Which is actually 29. Believe it or not.
So Luke.
All right, guys. Well, this is Podtacular, and I'm just going to start taking over the hosting duties because.
Don't worry. There's a button called boot option.
Really?
So Luke, first things first. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I work at OneUp.com. I'm the news editor here. I'm one of the guys on the One Up Yours podcast, and from time to time I appear on that video television program, the One Up Show. But I think probably the main reason I'm here is because I'm a huge Halo fan.
Great.
That's probably the main reason why I'm sitting down talking to you guys.
You too, huh? What a coincidence.
I thought it was because of me, man. Damn. Liar.
It's because of me. I'll be honest here. There's certain things people do to come talk to me, and
then you woke up and
Yeah.
and then I'm here now. I'm talking on the podcast now.
Yeah. Oh, welcome. All right. Glad you made it. Cool. Okay,
and
so...
speaking of Halo,
Yeah.
You played Halo 3. Well, you played the beta, right? I remember you.
No, I didn't play the beta. We played a pre-alpha version of the game, and it sounds like the pre-alpha version is pretty much the version that they've continued to talk about with some changes on Bungie.net. I mean, the maps that they've showed that they've been playing on their internal hump days are the same 3 maps.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure that's probably going to be in the beta, which is what the show is about this week.
Good deal.
So overall, is the gameplay the same, or I mean, I'm not going to ask you to like leak anything out or whatever, but do you feel the gameplay is the same as Halo 2?
You
or
can
did
talk
they
about
improve
everything
anything?
you saw, right? Because it was a pre-alpha.
Yeah, no, I can talk about everything I saw because I mean we did 3 weeks of Halo 3 coverage on One Up, and
that was great too.
I mean, like I said throughout the coverage, you know, the Halo 3 stuff is the changes like the assault rifle, the Spartan Laser, even stuff like the map design and the maps. While there are different and new elements, like the thing that we're calling the shield doors on Snowbound, these new elements feel very Halo. There's nothing that you're using that feels out of place in the Halo fiction and the Halo universe. Even something like the spike grenade and the spike rifle. I mean, they still feel and perform like a weapon you'd expect from a Halo game.
Okay.
That's like one of the things. I mean, we in the past we did Halo 3 shows where we would guess as to, or actually make a wish list of things that we wanted to see in the game, and consistently I heard people adding elements that really didn't go along with what Halo was, which is, you know, like go in, shoot some people in their face. I mean, when you hear about a lot of things that are like Counter-Strike or Rainbow Six or stuff like that. It's cool in its own right, but it's definitely not Halo. I mean, like crouching on side of doors and going all co-op and stuff isn't what I want when I buy a Halo game. I want to go in guns blazing and
I want co-op.
kick some rear end. Well, I mean not co-op, covert.
Oh, okay.
I get that. Co-op and covert are the same thing, actually. Little known fact.
Well, Luke, you say you can talk about what you saw, but I'm sure you cannot talk about the X button, right?
I haven't actually seen the X button and what it does. I don't know what it does. I don't know anymore about the X button.
So
Well,
did they just
I don't
disable
know what
it
the X
then,
button
or?
does. Yeah, yeah. It was in our build. It was turned off. So
Okay.
Wow.
none of us have played with the X button. Actually, we've only had like little murmurs of what it might do from little places, and little corners of the internet.
Uh-huh.
Well, hey,
But
let me
right
ask.
now
Can you tell us?
in the alpha,
Can you tell?
what I've heard is that it just does TeamSpeak, which is obviously not its intended, secret function.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I can't see all the hype around that.
Yeah. Hey, let me
sweet
ask you
though.
this: that one of the things that it hasn't really been explained yet as well is that progress bar at the top of the screen that we keep seeing in different alpha builds. Did that appear on the one you played as well, or not?
Just to be clear, the progress bar, so that we're on the same page, is at the top of the UI and it's a rectangle. Is that the bar you're referring to?
Yeah, it's a landscape
That's
rectangle.
the shield. Yeah, that's the shield indicator.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not a. It's like that. That's the visual representation of your shields.
So as opposed to
Oh,
the
okay, cool.
to the red thing that goes on top of the radar.
Right. Yep. In that the radar is slightly. I don't know how big you guys have seen the UI blown up as far as like resolutions, and they haven't released anything officially, I don't think. But there's stuff
Yeah.
in the video, and then from what we saw, the radar in the lower left corner has a slight bit of concavity to it because it's sort of loosely mimicking the 3D appearance that it would have were you looking through a Spartan helmet, and you can
Right.
also see in some of the stuff. You can see the outline of a Spartan helmet and the shield. That progress bar that you're talking about is actually in the build that we played. It was there, and that's the shield. The
Oh,
indicator.
pretty sweet. So it's kind of like what you saw in Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, right?
A little.
Kind of like through their face mask type thing.
With the way it's
A little bit, yeah, but
concave.
it's very, very subtle.
Oh, okay.
Very subtle.
That's a
So-
good thing, though.
So that eliminates all the speculation that people had that there was going to be no shields. I don't know why people were thinking that, but I guess maybe because of that shield grenade that he threw down in that not Super Bowl, Monday Night Football commercial.
Yeah, and the helmet coming
Yeah.
off and all that.
I was at that Monday night game as well, by the way, and that's why I didn't get in the beta because
Oh.
I got on the next day. So, by the
Well,
way,
join the
just
club.
throwing it out there.
Joined
Hey,
the
and-
club. I didn't get my.
Yeah, I didn't get
The
one.
team I was there to watch ended up beating the New York Football Giants in the playoffs.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
How are those playoffs going now?
Ah. Thank you, Luke.
Better
Thank
than you would think.
Thank you, Luke.
Anyhow,
Let's go,
it's a
Colts.
Halo podcast.
Ah. Yeah, Colts are gonna win it.
So,
All right, so
yeah, why don't we get started on what
Let's
people
get
send in
started
here
here. Let's do
and
it.
get talking about the Halo 3 beta and what people think about how it's going to work and everything. Starting off with one from Ironic Pear, who says, "Hey guys, this is Ironic Pear. I think in the Halo 3 beta they're going to be showing everything they showed in the 1-Up interview. They might even there might even be some added features like the Brute Ghost. After looking at the pictures from the short Iraq video of the alpha, you can see that the pictures are crisp and clean, and there's a guy in a mongoose. I think they'll have 3 maps: Snowbound, Valhalla, and High Ground, and maybe a 4th to spike some people's interests. They may even reveal the identity of the X button. As far as the Halo 3 or the Halo commercials go, they might have the shield grenade thing that covers up the Master Chief. I think the beta will be awesome. Thanks, keep on fragging trucks." So, what do we think as far as like any new weapons, new vehicles, maps? Do you think there's going to be anything new introduced with the beta?
Well, I think that you're gonna see probably some stuff like if you've been, and you guys in your audience obviously has been, but like following weekly updates, I think you'll probably get your hands on this new needler that they've been talking about. The Brute Ghost thing is it's a sort of a bit of a joke now because it's the glimpse that we got of this vehicle and it sounded like a ghost and it appeared like a brute was riding, and it was sort of we call it the brute ghost, but that's now sort of like an ongoing gag between Bungie and I, because it's not actually a brute ghost per se. It's
Really?
it's something else, and they won't say. I mean, they're not going to say what until they're ready. But it is something else, and like so that we've sort of branded it brute ghost has been a bit of a sticking point, because it's not actually a brute ghost. Similarly, the shield grenade that people keep talking about. It's not actually it's not a grenade necessarily. It's we did a big deconstruction of what it could be, and a while ago. But think of it in terms of maybe a generator, a different item type, maybe than a grenade. Might be one way to consider thinking about it, rather than thinking in terms that we already know. For the X button, it's entirely possible that the X button could be a new gameplay element altogether.
Yeah,
or like a new school of technology. That's not necessarily a grenade.
Well,
I guess it's like a.
I was just sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you there. I was just going to say is that I don't really understand why they're working so hard to try to get us to think beyond the realm of grenade when he sets it off and throws it at the ground, other than it actually being some other kind of gameplay element that's being introduced for that to make sense with. Because I sure hope it's not basically like, well, it's not a grenade, but you use it like a grenade and that's pretty much it. Because why all the runaround,
Like, do you think it'll be like I know some games have like gadgets that are a different kind of weapon.
Well, like
weapon set,
Perfect
but-
Dark.
Yeah, like Perfect Dark. Like you have gadgets as a certain menu. Maybe and the X button is switched to gadgets, which could.
Nah, I can't see Master
James
Chief
Bond.
with gadgets. But I mean, they
Hey,
according to the books,
anyone
they're
can
studying
have gadgets
Covenant
if-
technology, So,
Yeah.
hey,
I know you
But
got
it's-
gadgets. I don't want to talk about that in the show.
anyone can have a gadget if they just know how to work it. That's the law of common.
Law of gadgets.
Of gadgetry, actually. That's the code.
Law of gadgetry,
gadgetry
chapter
and
4, verse
wizardry.
1.
Yeah. Anyone can have a gadget if they know how to use it.
Verse 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right. So I'm gonna go to
UNSCI
UKI Turai,
Okay.
whatever that means. Hi, Fumo, JDB, and guest host. Can I just say that
Hi.
it's
Hello.
Can I just say that it is just me, or is it all the underage kids getting a successful invite? These kids shouldn't even be trying to get in. It's ridiculous. When a child who goes to school have time to help out with Bungie bugs, glitches, and exploits, etc. If only Bungie read the post on OSME, because I'm not going to try to pronounce
I
it.
think you meant 1.
Okay.
OSME and 1.
some.
Okay.
I think it's
Oh, some, yes.
Yeah, but
yeah.
yep, it is some.
There you go.
But since I'm a dummy, anyway,
Thor.
if only Bungie read some of these posts in this site, blah blah blah, they'd cancel the prepubescent kids the chance they have, whatever. Sorry for the rant, but it really annoys me when people who can help out Bungie don't get the chance to. So
Well,
to narrow
I-
down,
I think it's stupid and that to think that a person that's going to school has no time to critique a video game.
and I'm
that-
sure they're not looking
that-
at. I mean, I'm sure there's some type of age requirement and a demographic they're trying to get. A certain amount of young people and.
Well, they're
older
not doing
folks.
background checks. They're just asking if you're
Yeah,
18
exactly, I mean-
and checking your birthday that you supply. So, if people are faking that, then they're not going to go to the next level and
I mean, let's face it, man.
social
I
security
mean,
number. And,
who are the majority of people who found these glitches in Halo 2 and were modding? They were the 13-year-olds of the world.
yep.
Right.
So I
What?
mean, who better than to?
I think the thing to remember that's important about what UKI Tori is getting at is he's or she, I guess, is apparently concerned with like filing bugs and glitches and exploits. Well, the beta is not necessarily going to be like a fact-finding investigation for finding bugs, glitches, and exploits. It's more going to be like testing the functionality of the matchmaking services. It's going to be testing. It's going to be like looking at workload. The beta itself is going to be a pretty polished experience for gamers to enjoy. It's not going to be a paper trail of bug filing. So I mean that concern shouldn't be there. And I think that you want those kids who are like game breakers. You want those kids to come in and try and break the game. That's only going to help ultimately.
Exactly. Oh, definitely.
Well,
that dude just says sour grapes. All right. Cry more, noob.
Ah, nub.
Cry me a
like,
river.
do you think is the point of the beta to test what people think about the game and like the gameplay aspect, or is it to release it and see what kind of reaction you get as to the flow of the system of how to get into a game?
I think it's
going
going
to
to
be about the game.
I think it's a little. I think it's a little of both, but I don't think it's setting out for like rigorous QA. I think it's sort of like Bungie giving their fans an opportunity to play the game, and Microsoft and Bungie working together to use this as a possible way to streamline, their matchmaking service and system, and seeing what's popular and seeing what works. It's going to be a lot like what Bungie does with the matchmaking service now, where they're watching community feedback and adjusting playlists and stuff like that. I think that it's going to be a trial ground for stuff like this ultimately.
Yeah, it's something that other developers should learn and put into their games. My golly, Gears of War matchmaking sucks.
Oh yes. It
Anyway.
does. Yeah. Hey, before we move on, can I ask you a few questions real quick, Luke? Something we were talking about before there. We're getting into talking about the brute ghost and things like that. Because of that, I don't know if maybe it's possibly a Forerunner vehicle yet, and they haven't mentioned it, and that's why, because it's part of a story element. But I won't even ask you that because we'll see. I kind of want to be surprised by that, really. Even though I have it in my mind already. But another thing is, do we think which of those three is your favorite map and why?
Oh God, I don't know. I think at the time, I think I said it was probably High Ground because it was a smaller, more condensed version of Zanzibar, which I thought was a really well wrought and well realized map. I think I'd probably today, still say High Ground for those same reasons, and especially with the reported weapon configuration changes that they wrote about that are on High Ground now, with a
nice.
sword and a rocket launcher and a needler, and with like an entirely with the sandbox expanded. I think that it's going to be a pretty awesome experience.
Now tell us real quick, because I remember hearing one of the shows and you were talking about the man cannon, and I think it was you. You said you tried to put a warthog in it, and it just went a few feet.
No, I drove one of the warthogs off the man cannon, and it didn't know it didn't go it didn't fly across the map, but it flew a modest distance and flipped in the air, and I landed it.
Cool.
So what do you think about the man cannon? Do you think it's going to have any strategic value in the game, or is it just something you have fun with?
There'll be strategic value. I mean, there's going to be a point when the round first starts where there's going to be that race to control the Spartan Laser in the center of the map, and I mean, you're going to want to make sure it's sort of like in Combat Evolved, racing to get the rocket launcher on Blood Gulch.
Yeah.
Because there's so few counters, to the Warthog, and that's a pretty reliable one. And depending on your settings, I mean, the rocket launcher on 2v2 CTF will turn the tide because it's 10-second respawns.
Speaking of which, the rocket launcher, so that was in the alpha that you played, right? They had that and the Spartan Laser?
Nope, only the Spartan Laser. The rocket launcher, they talked about on one of yours, and EGM Live did a special Halo podcast, and Frankie talked about how the rocket launcher was sort of like a twofold problem that they were working on solving. And I mean, the easy conjecture to make from there was that the problems that the rocket launcher had in Halo 2 were because it had a lock-on functionality with ground vehicles, which sort of rendered the ground vehicles impotent. And needed the lock-on functionality because the Banshees, without a lock-on functionality, would be almost unkillable. So I think that and this is just my own speculation, as one potential easy fix to that would be the rocket launcher has a lock-on for airborne vehicles and no lock-on for vehicles on the ground.
Right.
Well, I mean, intuitively,
that would make sense.
It makes sense with regards to the game in that it makes it more fun, but intuitively, like if you're trying to make this game as realistic as possible, what do you think would be a reason that a person wouldn't be able to lock onto something?
Right, like why would they downgrade over the years?
Right. I mean,
If you're gonna make if the factory that's giving Spartans these rocket launchers, like wanted to, I'm sure they've thought of this, and it's a great fix, but I mean just intuitively it doesn't count up, I guess.
well, I guess here's the thing. Like, if you consider the rocket launcher maybe has a trajectory based on a heat signature, the changes that you could make to the vehicles theoretically would be to like limit the heat signature of ground-based vehicles because ground-based vehicles require less energy in theory, and then if you're masking the heat signature on the vehicles, the lock-on function would effectively be disabled because the rocket wouldn't be acquiring enough of a heat signature
Good point.
to lock on, and that'd be an easy way to explain it. Skip is shaking his head next to me at the desk.
It's like, eh.
And
unless they're driving Honda hybrids, then
and whoever said downgrading weapons in terms of the fiction, I mean, come on, dude, the Magnum, downgrade total.
True.
Wouldn't be the first time they've done it in the line of the fiction if they do it again. In the name of fun, quote.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, that reminds me, since we're talking about justifying, things in the game, what about the man cannon? How the heck do you justify something that just shoots random things with no guard around it, like 50 feet up in the air, and that has it just land on nothing except the ground?
I think there's got to be points where you separate lore from fun, and I think that the man cannon is probably
it's
one
gonna
of those
be.
things that's
Just listen
like,
to what it's called, for God's sake.
like on I mean, why would you have a teleporter with two bases at the end of the map, a teleporter that only goes halfway? I mean, these are questions that you can ask about anything. It's ultimately in the name of fun and design, and not necessarily specific to like the lore of the fiction.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they want to balance, all the weapons out as much as possible. Because I mean, just look at the noob combo, how deadly that was in the hands of the right person. And I hope they do
And I mean,
take that
there
away.
comes a point where like, yeah, well, there comes a point where I agree with you that like you can't just go all realistic and everything's, I mean, we're playing a game with aliens, for God's sake. But if you made everything realistic, that would take away a certain element of the game that.
Oh yeah, that everybody loved about it,
Yeah, I mean, a certain part of it has to be less intuitive and more.
All right,
just
so
for fun.
Lone, you got Marooner here up next.
Maroon.
Cool.
A Marooner says, "Hey, Podtacular, it's Marooner
Hi, Maroon.
here." And my thoughts for the Halo 3 beta is that, knowing Bungie, which he obviously does, they're not going to let too much info out, but I think they would do something along the lines of a small level that has nothing to do with the actual campaign when the real game comes out. It might involve a small amount of weaponry and probably a small use of vehicles. Hopefully the mongoose. It will probably include a small variety of enemies. I hope I didn't use the word small too much and keep on Fraging pinatas. Pinatas.
The pinata.
The pinata.
If you put RA in the front, it'll be Raw Mooner, which would have been a real cool name.
So if they're small, if everything's small, is it going to be like midget Marines and baby brutes and just run all over the place?
I was going to talk about that midget from work, but I'll leave that out of the podcast.
Okay.
That's the kind of. I mean, if anyone listening is interested in hearing about a midget on a construction site, then get back to JTB as soon as possible. But
Exactly.
it's
Let's just
probably
say that
wildly
I
inappropriate.
for a split second, I saw a floating hard hat, and I freaked out for a little bit. I'm like, dude, I'm seeing hard hats floating, man. So,
Okay, so let's see. He was saying possibly a single player. This is a multiplayer demo, right? So there's not going to be any single player elements.
Right. I don't.
Yeah, well,
think
I he means like nothing, like a level that might lead you to believe something about the campaign. Like a level on on the sun might make you think that they go to the sun.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty boring demo because everybody be
You
dead.
spawn and you die.
So recently, there was a interview on, I believe it was Game Informer, where Frankie talked about. I think it was Frankie. Yeah, he talked about. He was saying that someone asked him directly. They said, "Are we going to find out more about the Forerunners, who they are, their origins, and things like that?" And he said, "Let's just say that you'll know a lot more about the Forerunners by the time this is done." So that begs the question of whether in single player there's going to be hints, or whether in multiplayer there's going to be hints of the single player story. Like, for instance, is there going to be Forerunner architecture, Forerunner locations, weapons, vehicles, things like that in multiplayer? What do you guys think about that? Luke, how about you, man? What do you think?
As far as the Forerunner structures, I mean, they told the way they described the buildings on Valhalla and Snowbound, those were described just as Forerunner structures,
Right.
And I mean, so I think I think you're going to continue to see that in the multiplayer, some crossover. But if you, think back to Halo 2, there's no level, not that I recall, in Halo 2's campaign that's like Lockout, and Lockout was what. It's like in lore, it's a Forerunner structure for containment of the flood in a frozen area or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was definitely structured in Halo 2.
I think that you're going to see. I think that it's going to be consistent with their multiplayer design philosophy all along. Like, these are things that could take place in a single player game. These are areas that you could come across. It's, if you painted Valhalla white with snow, it could very easily remind you of something from Assault on the Control Room. With high cavernous, walls in a basin. There's all kinds of things like that are going to be small crossovers. But even in terms of, if you think back to the Brute documentary, that area that was in really low light, they showed in color at the end of the video. One of the things that I said, the first thing I said when I watched the video was, "Oh, this is where they took the screenshot of the Master Chief," because Marooner is right about not necessarily knowing Bungie, but the way that Bungie's doing things is they're going to release as much as they can from as little of the game as possible. And since we've already seen screenshots from Valhalla's, Snowbound, and High Ground, I think that it's totally reasonable to expect that those are probably going to be the three of the maps if they're going to see. Maybe you might see more, might see less. Your guess is as good as mine. But you're going to continue to see as much information as possible coming out from as few sources as possible.
Exactly. I feel the same way, especially after what happened with Halo 2, and they did a good job of hiding the single player storyline until it was released, through pirated websites and stuff like that. So I think this time they're going to be a lot more careful about what they're going to even hint at.
Well, do you think that is the people who showed its fault? Do you think they would have gone the same course if things hadn't been leaked last time? Because they let go a reasonable amount of Halo 2. They didn't let the whole story go, but do you think that if they would have gone the same way and showed us more if things hadn't happened last time?
I don't know. You look at the new Mendoza trailer, 3 years ago at E3, or maybe a little more than that, and everyone just assumed that was going to be in the game, and when it wasn't, people threw an uproar. So, there was even rumors that, there was going to be a downloadable map for New Mendoza, and you can actually play that, what happened in the trailer. So I just maybe it's still very early. It's coming out in this year, but we don't know when. Yeah. And
November.
I guess they just want to save what they have to show, and which is fine by me. Little tidbits here and there. I don't want to know everything about the game.
Yeah, really.
Not right away.
Let's wait till we play it.
So let's see. Moving on to the next one, right? Who's up next? Am I up next, or is Luke? Are you up?
Oh, I get to do one?
Yeah, sure, go
Okay.
for it.
Yeah.
Killazilla says, I signed up for the first wave of beta invites, but haven't gotten anything. I'm hosting a group that will play on midnight on the 1st in order to get our 3 hours in and sign up at 3:01 a.m. before any of the lazies that decide to play and sign up in the morning. That's a fragment. Only the hardcore will get into the rule of 3.
Wow.
You guys are gonna. I mean, I don't know about you, Luke, but as far as me, Fumo, and Lone Bananaphone, I mean, you guys. I mean, I have no problem playing Halo 2 for 3 hours straight.
All right.
But what about Crackdown? I mean, I just recently played a demo, and I found it very entertaining. So I'm gonna purchase it regardless, not because of the Halo beta, but I mean, what do you feel about, you know? I mean, I think you Fumo, did you I know Lone Bananaphone say he couldn't register for the beta after the Super Bowl commercial, but you did, right, Fumo?
Yeah. I couldn't register that very night because it was jam packed and all screwed up. But the next day I did, and I got the notification of the you may be receiving the email in the next few days, and
Yeah,
didn't get
I
the
got that.
email, and so now I'm like down in the dumps and drinking all day. And
But what,
Street.
I mean, do you think it's fair that all of a sudden
Finding a
there's...
Fumo whore.
But do you find it
exactly,
fair
but-
that there's different ways now to register, and everything's being more focused toward the other two ways?
Yeah.
here's a-
Go ahead.
Well, the thing about the beta is you got to remember that the beta is ultimately a product of, Microsoft marketing, sort of. I mean, and it's, Bungie in Microsoft, we can probably, conjecture, had a bit of an argument or a row about the way that the beta would be distributed. I mean, I think obviously, as people who are familiar with Bungie and their philosophies, you guys would probably expect that Bungie wanted the demo to be available to anyone with a live gold account. I mean, you figure you're paying $50 for live, you should be able to test our game, and they want people to test their game. The capping and the sort of ways to get into the beta are ultimately sort of the schematics of a marketing concept, and a way to generate hype and exclusivity, and making it feel exclusive makes it seem like an even bigger deal. And the Crackdown tie-in is just another way to get in. And I'm glad that you enjoy Crackdown, JVB. I think it's a really fun. It's a lot of fun, and it probably on its own is worth the $60. And then if you toss in the Halo 3 beta for free, it's a pretty solid deal.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
the marketing in that whole spiel with Crackdown, it's genius from a marketing standpoint. I mean, you're gonna have I don't want to say double the people that are gonna buy the game, but you're gonna see at least a top 10 appearance on most bought in games. Crackdown. Yep. A lot.
Yeah, you can't sell the beta invites, but you can sell Crackdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it said in a recent episode that a lot of people are buying the Halo 3 beta for $60 and then getting Crackdown along with it.
Yeah, well, if you play the demo, you won't say that anymore. Actually, Crackdown's actually, I'm looking forward to it. But
Cool.
yeah, I didn't get an email, so
Hey, but one thing they said about the
Right,
rule of 3, right? They were talking about how it works on. Well, they talked about it on Bungie.net real clear. They're saying that you play 3 hours of Halo 2 multiplayer between February 1st and the 9th or something like that. I forget. And then sign up again on Halo3.com for the beta after that period is over. So you have 10 days or whatever it is to play 3 hours of Halo 2 multiplayer, and then after that, the first 13,333 people to sign up after a certain date and having met that requirement will get in. So it sounds like to me that it doesn't matter when you play those 3 hours, if it's between midnight and 3 a.m. or if it's the next night or a couple days later, as long as you're the first few people to sign up again for the second phase of the beta. So.
Well, how long
Yeah.
do you think it'll take to fill up? I mean,
it's going to take a matter of seconds.
I mean, I'm convinced that. I mean, by morning even.
Yeah.
Better get your
They
atomic clock
certainly
out
won't have a shortage of
set it to
people.
midnight.
That's for sure. Yeah, well. Yeah, I mean, what else does he have to say there, Luke?
Yeah.
Killerzilla in the house.
I think Bungie's handling the beta very well and showing their fans love by giving them multiple chances. Microsoft, on the other hand, is only showing us the cold face of business. They're selling a beta invite for $60. Thankfully, they're bundling a free copy of Crackdown with it.
Capitalist
I
pigs.
just said it. I just said it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's echoing a lot of people on the internet, but
Here's what I want to know.
to each their own, though.
What system are they going to use to verify access into the beta? I mean, is it going to be like the Xbox Live 2-month with the a code that you enter, or what? You know, what do you guys think?
It's on the disc, I believe. It's a system that's on the disc. It's on the greens.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to, like, kind of like with the Xbox Live Arcade, like there's a way to know if you actually own the arcade title.
So to that extent,
We'll see.
can they selectively make things available to you in the marketplace for people that made it into the beta, or do they push it to you, or how the heck do they get it to you if it's not on the Crackdown disc, like if you make it into the beta?
They said they'll contact you through your Xbox Live account.
Huh. Wow.
So, and I'm sure they can do it. I've already seen, like, spam on Xbox Live, you know. So
yeah.
it can be done. It can be done.
Alright. Okay, so
Alright.
moving on to the next one here. We got Too Wicked For You, who says, regardless of whether or not I get into Phase 1, I'm planning on playing in early February. I think the servers will be clogged with players clamoring to get into the beta, so it might be a good opportunity to meet up with players I might not have otherwise. Since the open spots are limited to the first 13,333 people who play 3 hours and subsequently register, I don't think it'll take more than the first 4 hours or so for these spots to be filled. So go online early, play for 3 hours straight, because you can be sure there are at least 13,000 people who are planning to do exactly that. Yeah, so this is probably
And
misunderstood.
You can play with small people and small maps. With 3 different
Small
things.
midgets with small floating construction helmets.
I think that's a leak. That's a leak right there.
It is.
There's small 3 small. 3 blind mice.
3 and small.
Mice are small. 3 blind mice.
That's what it is. It's nursery rhymes.
3
Yeah,
blind
that's
mice
the
is the
Old Mother
those are
Hubbard.
the Forerunners. The 3 blind mice are the
yeah,
Forerunners.
the 3 blind mice are
There you
the
go.
forerunners.
That's a good point. See how they run.
We've solved the mystery. Bungie, give us
See,
another
they
riddle,
ran.
please.
I knew
Yeah,
it.
right. It's a big riddle.
So,
Yeah, well,
you think there's going to be kind of a logjam that might cause major problems with lag or connection issues, or just playing the performance of the beta, or what?
I don't think so, because just the fact that they have a set number on the amount of people they want to bring in for the beta, they probably have a sweet spot that they think is going to work out. And, you know, I'm just assuming that they're going to do it the same way they did with Halo 2. You know, the person with the best connection automatically becomes host.
I sure hope so, because otherwise it becomes more of the stuff like matchmaking in some of the other games, where you got host that has this huge advantage, and then he can set game options in match-made games and all kinds of stuff. It's weird, but I'm sure I highly doubt Halo will go that route. So anyway. All right, so let's get past the rest of that there. Who's up
Alright,
next?
So, Ryan Montgomery. I see the beta only allowing us to play a handful of game types like Slayer, Team Slayer, and probably
Pro Bally?
for Bally. Let me see. And probably half. I don't know what he's trying to say. Half full of maps. Okay. Like the one seen recently, like Snowbound. I'm sure they're gonna have a capture the flag. They gotta have that. I mean,
Yeah, please have some kind of objective game, you know? Hey,
maybe they'll have a few.
Luke, you guys played Capture the Flag on the alpha, right?
Yeah, we played CTF.
Sweet.
Oh, okay, cool.
We played CTF. We played a couple ball variants. We played Slayer. We played Team Slayer.
Oh, nice.
I mean,
nice.
what, like, how many? You know.
You cut out.
No, you
part of
lagged
that
out.
question.
Speak American, man. Come on.
What? How many matches did you end up playing?
Oh, I don't know, dude. I can't. I mean, we played for probably 9 hours.
Wow.
I mean, I've played a lot of Halo 3.
We better get started now. Give us a rundown of each time you played. I mean, I've got time.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to sleep or anything or work the next day.
Yeah, right.
What was your favorite map, weapon, game type combo? Like your favorite match, the entire thing, just to sum up the longness.
My favorite map, game type, weapon combo.
I was like, what kind of question is that?
Yeah, and then
What's your
then your
favorite closed visor
kind of
vehicle
French
combo?
restaurant?
I guess doggy style.
Ah. Le doggy style.
Okay, so my favorite, like I said earlier, my favorite map was High Ground, and my favorite, the I guess of the weapons, like I'll narrow it to like the new weapons, the Spartan Laser. The first time you fire the Spartan Laser, it's like holding a Death Star on your shoulder.
Wow.
People are gonna get off on it. Like you hold it, and this orb of energy charges, just like the Death Star laser charges,
Sweet.
and it like charges into a ball and it just shoots out and just eradicates whatever's in front of you. And game type, I don't know. When we played like the revised Hump Day, when we played the Halo 3 Hump Day against Bungie, that was probably my favorite, series of matches, just because of all the shit talking.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. What now? That laser. Is it a continuous stream of
It's a
laser?
single.
Or is it
It's a
okay,
single. It's a single beam shoots out and just destroys and goes away as quickly as it was there, pretty much.
And how long does it take to charge?
I think about 3 seconds.
Oh, okay, so you're pretty vulnerable then. Like,
Super vulnerable.
It doesn't
Can
take
you-
like 10 minutes to charge up. You just need to wait there. And
can you run
let it-
and shoot at the same time?
No.
Good.
Mm. So you're stationary. Or can you
Yeah.
walk?
If I remember correctly, you're stationary.
Huh.
Again, this is back in the beginning of October.
Yeah. I wonder if I mean, obviously you could probably be driven the mongoose and use it at the same time, probably.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
Well, wait, no, because you hang on. You need. I mean, the animation is 2 hands, right? Holding up
No.
the cannon on the shoulder.
But when you were in, I was in the passenger seat, and I was using the assault rifle, which is also held with 2 hands.
Oh, okay.
So in the passenger's bucket or whatever.
Oh, okay. Because I did see a picture of a Spartan holding on to the back of the mongoose.
Yeah.
With
Okay.
one flag, with the flag on one hand, and his free hand holding a bar or something. So I don't know if that's the same. I mean, it obviously was the mongoose, but I don't know if that was just like concept art or something.
That's like a promo picture for the map, though.
Yeah.
So
Okay, cool.
may or may not be actual stuff. Another thing, I was just wondering what you guys thought of maybe I'd like things for objective games. Like we know there's going to be new game types. What those are, we're not totally sure. Some people suggest like tank battles where there's only tanks, which may or may not fly. I'm not that excited about that. But what kind of twists can they put in objective games in the future? They did say that one of the new game types they said will probably be the most played game type out there. Any ideas on what you guys
Bubble bath.
think that might be? There you go.
Absolutely. I wanted to keep that a secret, but man,
Sorry, man, I
Bananafone
kept trying.
with the cat out of the bag. Team Bubble Bath.
Sorry about that. That goes along with Team Doggy Style. I mean, you can play both at the same time.
That's what the X button is for.
Press
Damn.
What it's for?
press the X button for finger cuffs.
Oh
Fuzzy
man,
pink
for
and
those for those younger members in our audience who have no idea what that means, we'll keep it that way.
Don't ask your parents.
Mommy, what's finger cuffs?
Yeah, don't ask your mom with your dad around. It could create some really awkward stuff. A marriage could end.
Well, Jimmy, if you'd like to see a pair,
Oh.
got some in her.
Oh,
Oh man. Yeah.
Anyway,
So
Halo. This is Halo. I forgot.
exactly.
you guys. It's a Halo podcast. Don't talk about sex, okay? Don't.
Yeah. Speaking of, no. So all right.
You're like, yeah. Speaking of, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I guess we'll skip the objective games. It's kind of off guard anyway, but whatever. They might have. Go ahead.
The one, I remember an idea from a while ago was the one where you're in a base and you got to keep people out, like I guess Perfect Dark, but I mean that.
Yeah,
that might be a
or-
game type.
Or I think I had mentioned one where you're the Flood, kind of like zombies, but maybe they make it an official game type where you're like, you're a Flood and you have the same abilities to jump and drool and all that crap.
Nice.
I don't know.
X to drool.
All right, who's taking bee stings?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now,
now?
Harry.
Let's do it. First
Okay.
and foremost, I want to say to everyone not to judge the game on the beta. The beta, no doubt, will be awesome, but there are going to be so many features left out of the beta version that to take your entire judgment on an incomplete multiplayer beta is absurd. I think that there will be 3 maps on the beta as well as a limited party system. I think the beta will live up to the hype, but at the same time not reveal anything that they will save for the final game.
Thank you for being succinct.
Yeah,
For being a jerk.
I pretty much agree with him. on
So hey, I got some questions for you guys about that actually that I prepared in advance.
Nice.
Okay, so the guy who left, yeah, it's like a paragraph here. The guy who left Bungie to start the company that is doing the Halo 2 multiplayer maps said recently in that Game Informer thing that Halo 3 multiplayer is years ahead of the competition. So what do you guys think about like the party system? Like, will we get to play customs and matchmaking and switch between? And like, will it be as we're used to, or is it going to be something new maybe, as far as that goes? Like in the party system.
That would be kind of cool if you can do a party search for custom games. The only thing, I mean, how would you actually search? I mean, I don't know if you would do like a team ball based type custom search or a Slayer game type. I mean, but it would be nice to be able to search for some custom games.
Yeah, like maybe if there was like private and public customs or something. It's a thought anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, in a way, it's kind of
in,
similar to the way other things are now. But
I
they
mean-
can do it the Halo way, where you can still easily start a custom just by selecting your custom and inviting people to the
Exactly.
party and get started.
I mean, I think right now Halo 2 is still ahead of the competition when it comes to the way they integrated multiplayer. The party system. I mean, I just don't understand why people can't emulate it
Yeah, no, huh?
or
It's-
just
it's-
buy the damn license, sell it. The way they do with the Unreal Engine.
For real.
So
I think I'm a big advocate of like the pre-game lobby system where
oh, definitely.
go into a match-made game. I mean, just thinking about Rainbow Six, it's a heck of a lot harder to a lot harder to like join with a friend and play a game type. So I mean, in Halo 2, you say, "Friend, come to me into my room, and we will play."
Come to
We
me.
will play.
Friend,
to my
come
game
to me into my room.
You touch my tra-la-la. Okay. But then you go and you
Mighty
play.
ding-dong.
But in Rainbow Six, what happens is you say, okay, friend, I will meet you here. Remember my name and remember all the game type options that I know. And then I'm going to read you this list of everything that I'm going to put on the game type so you can find me when the time comes.
So find me, friend, if you dare.
Oh,
That's what
man.
those little notes that are at the back of instruction manuals. Those actually have a use now. It's for writing down the information of the person whose game you're trying to join on some janky-ass Xbox Live interface. So for everyone who's been
Damn
wondering
straight, man.
what notes in Mega Man 2 is for, it's at the end of that. You can get out your Mega Man 2 instruction manual and you can take Xbox Live notes.
Yeah, what? There's always notes. It's like.
No.
You don't-
Yes. It appears that I am still Caucasian at 100 hours, and yes,
Taking
I am
notes on
3
life.
seconds later, it's true.
Yeah, so Luke, why don't you take the last and final one?
Last and
Swift
final?
Ninja 1 says, hey, I think that the Halo 3 beta will be awesome, but having to enter to get in or having to buy a game is stupid. We should all be able to download the demo for free on the Xbox Live Marketplace like the other demos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure eventually we'll be able to, freely download the beta.
I don't think so. I think that I
No?
disagree actually. No, I think that once you get in via the Microsoft marketing ways and the Crackdown, once the Crackdown shipment has been reached with how many units they're going to attach the beta to,
Yeah.
that's when after that the beta will start. It'll exist for a limited time period and then it will go away.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about the Halo 2 maps that are exclusive to the 360?
That's fine.
Do you
I mean-
do you think it'll come like right afterwards?
I don't know I don't know what the plan is to move those. I originally thought that those maps were going to be out before the beta.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the timing would make sense to put it out around the time of that 13,333 Rule of 3 contest, but that's generating enough of its own sort of hype and marketing that it doesn't need it. So strategically, I think the other thing too, I think that you're going to see the beta actually a little further out from when you think. Like Crackdown ships February 20th. It doesn't mean that March 3rd you're going to play the beta. I mean, I would assume that you won't be playing the beta until April.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be that soon.
Maybe the map packs that Max Hoberman and Certain Affinity are working on down in Texas will be summer releases when they need to sort of refuel the hype for Halo 3.
Absolutely, and it won't take much. All you gotta do is take a picture or put some concept art of a brute in the toilet or something. And
Sounds a lot like your mother.
now, quickly, Luke, I want to ask you a question we had posed at the forums about the ending of Halo 2 and Halo 3, how you would end Halo 3.
Pose just like your mother.
So you want to know what I thought about the ending of Halo 2?
No. How would you end Halo 3? Since it's supposed to be the end of the series.
With Rampant Cortana controlling the Master Chief, and you playing as the Arbiter and killing Master Chief. That's in like actually not like a scripted cut sequence or anything, but like sort of like he's laying there dying and you're the Arbiter and have the sword and you have to like press the right trigger to swing the sword and kill John. That's how I want to do it.
That would be a dramatic ending.
To create that distance, like, oh my God, I'm killing off, I'm killing off the Chief. That's how I want to do it.
Killing my hero.
And the Chief is gonna, the Chief would be saying like, kill me.
Yeah.
Do it now. Stop whining. That's what.
Kill me.
Or like aliens would
I'll do
kill
it.
me.
He'd be like, you ugly I forgot where I was at.
And
They always
the,
cut that off in the TV versions, man. You ugly mother.
Who the hell are you?
As he's dying, he's like, "See you at the party
I ain't got time to bleed.
Then the Arbiter does the old Darth Vader, and he goes, "No!" But that just continues for
Actually,
for
that
years.
would make. I mean, imagine you having to kill, some of these fans. I mean, it's like the only game they know, the only game they finished, and they follow it to no extent. Imagine if you had to freaking end Halo 3 like that. That would be pretty sweet.
But that would be a pretty conclusive ending right there. It's over.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it's over. No cliffhanger there. But.
Yeah, really.
You're done. You're done.
It's not moving on after
Especially if you had shots of instead of like a Jack Bauer ending where you think he's dead, but like you see like the Arbiter like pick him up and shake him around on the sword. He's like, "Yep, he's dead. He's dead. All right." And then they like burn his corpse, and then they kick him a little while longer, and it just leaves that all suspicion.
Yeah. I mean, he won't go
But
out.
people are like, wait, maybe the ashes will reform together and making him whole again and making Halo 4.
Well, yeah, that's not happening.
They're not going to do Halo 4 next. It'll be like Halo Genesis.
Yeah. That's what they'll do. They'll put him in a sunglasses case, and they'll send him off to a planet, which, as it turns out, is a planet that is undergoing a process of being reformed and into where it has greenery all around. And wouldn't you know it, Master Chief does the same thing. It's like Spock.
Oh man, and another question. And this goes for you two, Fumo and Lone Bananafone. What would Bungie have to do to make Halo 3 suck? What would disappoint you if it was in the game, or wasn't in the game?
Changing the type of game that it is, which I know they won't because people have played it and there's not much change, but changing it too much, trying to perfect it too much, because I mean you've already got a winner on the ground. And trying to perfect it too much may alter it and just make it un-Halo-like.
Kind of like Rainbow Six Lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the way they've already talked though about their intentions and what they've learned from Halo 2, I mean I'm pretty confident that there's not really anything they can do based on their plans that will screw up Halo 3. You know, they've also mentioned recently that they don't plan on doing any kind of cover system because their cover button is crouch. So, that works fine for Halo, and otherwise you can see over corners while you're taking cover and everything else. So, I got pretty high hopes for the whole thing, and I really think that it would be nearly, I think it would be nearly impossible for them to, screw it up to the point where people would be like supremely pissed at it or something.
And what about you, Lou?
I would probably just echo the sentiments from earlier, like to make it not a Halo game. I mean, to make it feel not Halo.
Yeah.
That'd be...
Now, would the amount of time? Well, let me rephrase it. If the game was short, would that tick people off? I mean, are we expecting a huge storyline here, or are we going to get a short, straight to the point story with an ending, and have the game focus more on multiplayer? I mean, which is kind of like what Halo 2 is right now.
No, I think that this is the. I mean, I think you're gonna see a lot of the story questions answered in this game.
Okay. Would that kind of mess things up if they went too deep into the story? I mean, I'm gonna compare it to like the Matrix, right? I mean, Revelations didn't really answer too many questions, and the ending was like people were so confused by it. I mean, do you feel they have enough of a backbone for the story where they can properly answer some questions? I don't think they're going to answer too many, but
I think
That's
they're going
what
to pretty
prequels
much
are for.
answer everything and tie up all the loose ends with this. I don't think they're going to pull a Matrix 3, which pissed all the Matrix fans off around the world, man. It pissed off like millions of people all in one day. Where, they had all these questions that really got the hype up for the third one, and to some people it just kind of pissed them off because it wasn't like the first one at all. But to me, I was even more excited because I was like, oh, sweet, now they raised all these new and interesting questions about, that are going to get answered in the third one, and the third one comes around, of course, and it just leaves us hanging a lot of things, and it just, pissed me off anyway. But I don't think there's any way they're going to do that in Halo 3, and I think they've already got the story planned out from the beginning, how they're gonna wrap it up, and how that's gonna go. So it's just a matter of tuning the gameplay so that it makes it interesting along the way, and of course all the other dramatic story elements like the voiceovers and all the encounters and things like that, and the cutscenes. So, I mean, I think there's a potential that people will be upset about the story in particular, but ultimately that's not going to matter as far as the staying power of the game, because they know what matters in keeping the game around is multiplayer, and that's why they're spending so much time on it, independent of the single player. So
Co-op.
I hope so.
Yeah,
co-op
All right,
online.
and speaking of wrapping up.
Yeah. So hey guys, send in your comments, etc. to podtacular@gmail.com. We depend on your submissions to keep the show going. As you can hear, we've been changing up the format, of course, to keep things fresh. And keep an eye on podtacular.com for an invitation to send stuff in for next week's show.
Go ahead, Lone. I know you want to do it.
I know you want to do
I always do this one.
Exactly.
Do you want me to do it like I do and everyone else does?
Yeah, buddy.
I'll read it backwards. Was snalik dnas mosk itno ila.
Dude,
You sound like
you
a
have an
Klingon,
imaginary
man.
friend at home. Yeah, he does, bro.
Wow.
Klingon on crack.
Klingon on crack.
Call our listener voicemail at 206-888-HALO. For all you Hispanics out there, that's 206-888-HALO. Excuse me.
Where'd they
For
come
all you
from?
Frenchmen out there, the number for all the Frenchmen,
Oh
it's
my gosh.
we
Oh,
surrender. We send the surrender pills, and we not fat anymore because we like French fries. And
Dude, you're alright,
Going
bro?
on.
You taking medication?
Really? Take your pills, drink
Past
some
my
orange
bedtime.
juice, get some vitamin
Man.
C.
Oh, man.
you know how I get when it's past my bedtime.
I know, dude. And it's
Oh,
only
man.
8:34.
Don't even
We remember last time.
don't even start. Don't even start.
Emo. Nah, go. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I refute that.
Harry, finish it before I break your legs.
This is like the beginning of the show when I couldn't.
Yeah, I
even
know.
start.
Well, I'm gonna go
For all
there.
you listeners
ahead.
out there, I tried to do the. Okay, and then leave a Halo-related message.
Okay, thank
Excuse
you.
me. We play these back. I can't even talk. We play these back regularly on the customs and call-ins show.
That was the most drawn out 2 sentences I've ever heard in my life, dude.
Don't even start.
Oh, man, I could imagine you when you're trying to ask a girl out to a date, bro. Damn.
I mean, well, if you don't understand me, maybe I'll speak in Spanish.
Yo te quiero.
Hey, if they can't understand you, they can't say no.
All right, be sure to check us out at podtacular.com. And while you're there, check out the forums. There's lots of buzz about Halo 3, Halo 2 Vista, and the new 360 exclusive Halo 2 maps and other stuff.
Yep. And thanks to all the people that contribute to Podtacular, whether it's working on the community or site, contributing to our PayPal to help out with the hosting bill, thank you, or subscribing to the show and reviewing us on iTunes. We couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, and I want to thank Lone Bananafone and Luke Smith from OneUp.com. You can check them out at www.oneup.com and listen to the One Up Yours podcast. It's freaking hilarious. If you thought Luke was rude and crude here, you ain't seen nothing.
That's very true.
I'm speaking the truth, man.
we put a tranquilizer in him before he came. So.
Exactly. It's like a caged lion.
Is that why I'm so sick? Is that just what you guys did? I've never done
man.
a guest spot on a show where they drugged me.
Dude, it took forever.
It's normal, dude.
I mean, I was sitting on that tree in the rain, and I had my dart gun. Dude, you're a hard guy to dart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best compliment you could ever give.
You're a hard
Exactly.
guy to dart, Luke.
You are hard.
Yeah, that could be like the next Steven Seagal movie.
Too hard to dart.
One man must dart Steve Seagal.
And when he gets darted, he just...
Just like
No! No! Stay still. I need to dart you.
Dart battle
Little
at
tortilla
the end.
boy.
In the grand
Anyway.
finale, they're like
His
trying to
mother.
dart each other. Dart battle.
Oh, man.
All right, well, guys, until next time, I'm Finger Jive.
I am JVP.
I am Lone Bananafone.
And
Oh, I get to say I get to say my own name. It was the tranquilizers.
And
The three of us were holding our breath.
no, man.
That's how I like to do
Let's go
it.
on purple.
Who is it? Who is it? Tell me.
So those are the guys from Podtacular. I'm Luke Smith from One Up, and what else you want me to say? That's it, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Right now, actually, there's music in the background that you can't hear.
But of course, Lone Banana
It's
Phone
kind-
hears it in his head.
Yeah. Right now, I'm hearing it. Actually, it goes a little something like this.
No, it's Debbie Gibson. I think we're alone now.
Hello now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyway,
yep. See you guys.
once again, Luke, thank you for joining,
Okay,
and
guys.
thank you, Lone Banana Phone.
Thanks.
Keep on fragging floating hard hats.
Keep on friggin' friggin'.
Finger
Bye.
puffs.
You can't stop. 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 You can't stop.
There's only one thing left to say.
Podtacular.
God,
Damn, dude.
good start. Nice. You guys do this often?
Yeah, all the time, dude. All right.
All right, I'm just gonna do Podtacular Halo 3 Beta Special, episode 98 for the week of January 29th.
Take 12.
Dun, 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 dun.